This is one of the best shows ever made. It is a crime that it stopped after 2 seasons. And I'm rewatching it. And I will start now. I've seen every episode once, and this will be the second time. So obviously I know what happens. But now I get to watch it again, and I will comment on it. So you'll hear me comment, but there won't be any pauses or any dead air. If I don't say anything, that's fine. I will say something when the moment strikes. And if it doesn't, don't worry, that'll be edited out. So, without further ado, let us start Patriot, Season 1, Episode 1, Milwaukee, America. Ignore that person beeping outside. How dare you? So non-official cover, it explains obviously what John is doing. So I find this cliche to have like some kind of definition beforehand, but again, it's one of the best shows ever made, so it's fine. I will excuse them on this. There's Ichabod, and there's Leslie, played by the great Kurtwood Smith, who I first saw him in the first RoboCop, and he was absolutely terrifying.
Let's try that one again.
So condescending from Leslie. And I don't even know if the terminology is correct for this kind of company, but it doesn't matter because the way they word this jargon is just poetry. And when it gets further down, they'll take it from the there's an internet spoof video about a confabulator that's around, and that's where they got like a lot of the jargon from, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's not another day for John because he needs this job to get where he's going. And he will, as we will see in just a second, he will do anything to get this job, and that includes pushing a man in front of a bus. Ooh, in front of a truck. How no one saw him do that, or like it seemed obvious that he was pushed, but I guess not. And I will let the opening song play for one time this season because I get tired, especially in shows that one after the other. It can get tiresome to hear the theme song over and over again. And I also have the soundtrack. I bought the soundtrack because it's like a Spinal Tap to where some of the songs are made for comedic purposes, but they're good songs, like unironically good songs. But this beginning shows the relationship between, John and his brother, Cool Rick. And then for the second season, they did Sure Shot by the Beastie Boys, I believe. Stephen Conrad, who I never heard of before Patriot. And he's doing Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones prequel, Dunk and Egg, based on the books. So what makes this show so great is just a combination of so many different things, and those so many different things are done so well. You have political intrigue, you'll have action, you have extreme comedy. Like, by extreme comedy, I mean like laugh out loud stuff. And then drama, just an extreme drama, just like really heavy duty stuff brought about, revolving around John and his PTSD, just based on all the trauma he's experienced and will end up experiencing throughout these 2 seasons. And there's the father, Tom Tavner, talking about how his son can be a little too honest with his songs, and it's not great when it's fine if you're a folk singer, but not great in intelligence. And the songs are excellent. Like I have the soundtracks. I bought the soundtracks for season 1 and 2, and while the songs are funny, they're really really good and touching and heartfelt. So it's interesting how I wonder in real life if they would have the father command the son. You figure it would be just an extreme conflict of interest. And this is one of many songs. June 2011. It just tells everything. And this is John in Amsterdam. And the actor, what's his name? His name will come up soon. So the actor who plays John, I'm just forgetting his name. Usually on Amazon, like they have the guy's name, but it's not coming up yet for some reason, even though he's in the scene. The one time I want, wait, let me see if I can. Oh no, There he is, Michael Dorman as John Tavner / John Lakeman. I mean, excellent actor, excellent voice, excellent musician. The guy's got it all.
Who was just making the physicist's bed.
And again, this is how he copes with his trauma. And it just showed how a series of errors can really, mess things up. So he was tortured, and now he's just suffering the effects of the torture. So they just planted him in Amsterdam, smoking a lot of weed. Yep, and it's just him dealing with that just regret he killed the wrong person. And it was those series of errors that got him caught, and eventually set free or escaped. I forgot what, but leads him to where he is now. There's Cool Rick.
You roll down the window, buddy?
And this actor, where is he? He's Edward Tavner / Cool Rick, Michael Chernus. He's in the first saw him in the show Easy on Netflix, which was very good as well. And he's also in Severance, which I don't have Apple TV, which I haven't seen, but I hear it's very good.
We can't.
So right off the bat, this first episode explores the relationship between Cool Rick and his son.
Is away, and she was expecting you. You were expecting John.
And there's John's wife Alice, who the first episode kind of gets off the ground running, but it's doing a great job just introducing all the characters who we will come to know and who I will come to love during these 2 seasons. And this is the beginning of the Charles Grodin, where it goes into John's self-destruction, where he's just going to ride his bike, not stop at stoplights, train tracks, or stop signs, because he can't hurt himself purposely, but if he gets hurt accidentally, he would think that's okay. It's just a way to punish himself, and probably a way that with most cases of self-harm, one helps him feel, and it's like I said, self-punishing as well. I guess. Oh, and now he falls, and that was an accident. And I guess the bike riding gives him something to do, makes him feel a little better. Another way to cope. And so it's establishing the kind of dynamic between the brothers and the father, really. From the opening credits to watching the home video, where the father can look back and reflect on the relationship with his sons. So Eddie's a congressman, and his father is, I guess, deep cover intelligence, and is, doing everything he can to protect his son, and to do that, he goes to another guy he trusts, which is his other son. So Eddie, just all these years later, still protects his brother, and that was a test. That was a test by his father, just to see the loyalty that the brothers have to each other. That Eddie has to John, and then you'll see that John as well has to Eddie, and just the smile on Terry O'Quinn's face, that he's comfortable. So it's establishing relationships between fathers and sons. Tavner's mother comes in later, but right now it's between fathers and sons. So Eddie and his son, what's his son's name? Efram. And then Eddie's girlfriend as well, the mother of his child. And and just see how actions have consequences, or just Eddie had to do something, and then leaving his son to the grandmother, to where his son jumps off a roof with an umbrella because his mother was telling him about Mary Poppins. So, yep. Thankfully the kid's okay. Yeah, he gives him another mission where he's obviously not ready for another mission, but they give it to him anyway. So, they introduce, a very serious mission, but at the same time, it's something to laugh at, to where Eddie, Edward wants to go to the mechanical bulls instead of getting back to his son who just broke both his ankles and feet. And I was actually in Amsterdam for about 8 hours. I was on vacation in Holland, staying at in a town about 3 hours south of Amsterdam, and that was a great town too, but Amsterdam was a lot of fun. I hope to go back there soon. So I think this is another way for John to cope by just distracting himself with different activities to where he doesn't have to think about the things that he's done and the things that he's seen. And he just threw the bull match so he can go home. And his brother knows. Because the sooner he goes home, the sooner he sees Alice. So it appears that John is impotent, and impotence can be from, stress, not being focused, anxiety, or it just could be the ice cream truck that's distracting him. Well, it just shows how well the family gets along. For them to joke around with the father just walking in on them starting to have sex. And just some exposition explaining the mission, and John is not too excited about it. And they're both really playing the guitar. So they never explained this, so maybe John was interested in folksy music because of his dad. I think this is a Townes Van Zandt song they're singing. And then John sings about it in the song Cool Rick. So there's a line like, "If I needed you, would you come to me?" And it goes back to the somewhat present in 2012, where John has increased his chances of getting the job at Macmillan, which he obviously does. And then introducing Birdbath, who plays a part. Drug testing, which he will surely fail from all the weed he's been smoking. And John has to think very, very fast. And this is introducing Dennis, played by another Conrad, I believe the brother of the creator of the show, who is just absolutely hilarious in it. And this is, John just starts making friends, and, friends who are become extremely loyal to him. And possibly the country of the United States. There you go. Trying to persuade Dennis in any way you can. And it then further explains just how Dennis and people working what he feels is a purposeless job to do something with purpose. Something very, very important and with purpose. So I think that's part of the reason why they get on to do it. To go on with John. Then Birdbath hears everything, and this is where the terrible blackmail begins. And like at first, you're meant to really just not like Birdbath, but then of course you end up coming to like him, which just shows the gift of the writing of the show, how good it is. And it's taking its time. The show is taking its time. And Edward just likes that title. Like, it's just, it's, establishing title, and he just wants a badge. Oh, and this is where it's never simple. It doesn't just go from A to B. So many complications ensue. So point A to point B isn't so simple. And they draw a parallel between the money and the oil and the piping. And this is where the stress of the show really begins, because from, I think, this point on to the end of the show, it's just John is under some kind of stress. I mean, he does have some moments where he's relaxed, but for the most part, he is just under an immense amount of mental and then physical stress. So he's dealing with the stressors of, obviously, his job with intelligence, but now his job that's his cover. So, two stressors. Or two of many stressors. So again, just looking for a higher purpose, because Dennis is just not satisfied. Everybody's so very calm about this. And then this establishes just how incredibly tough John is, taking on 5 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. And then here comes the action, which is, the violence is just, it's visceral, and it can be brutal at times. And just the physical trauma that John just endures throughout these 2 seasons is just unreal. And this is like, again, the first of it, aside from the torture he went through. See, I've heard the soundtrack so many times, and this is a song not on the soundtrack, but it's an original John Lakeman song. So he's just basically telling his whole undercover story. See, I guess that's why it wasn't on the soundtrack, because it wasn't the whole song, but I think it still would have been funny. Oh, yeah. Attaché badge.
They make us carry those.
And just further establishing how loyal his brother is to him. And now we meet the detective. It's Agatha Albon. I'm just the American pronunciation. Agatha Albons. Prettier said in French. Played by Aliette Efram, who I believe is Swedish. I think she pulled off a Luxembourg or French very well. And this begins just how she's a great detective, but it just shows the misogyny involved with the Luxembourg police and her all-women squad. But we'll see just how incredibly thorough she is throughout the 2 seasons. And this is another thing that, again, starts to get messed up. Where he thought he gave the money to the right guy, turns out the wrong guy, and it's just the trail of the money over and over until really the end of season 2. So again, going back to fathers and sons and relationships, which goes through seasons 1 and 2, and there's a bunch of songs on the soundtracks that John sings about fathers and sons. Oh, and now introduction of Cool Rick. And then just goes the heartbreak of how Edward can't say that Efram's his son just because of politics. But he still loves him. And another stressor. And another stressor. So there's like 5 major stressors going on all at once. just the face on John. It just about says it all. All right. So that was the end of season 1, episode 1, Milwaukee, America, for the show Patriot. So it's commentary only because, that's really all I need to say. All I had to say, I said during the commentary. So if you like this, and hopefully you will like other episodes of my podcast, which is called Music, Movies, and More. And you can find out more about this podcast. You can go on Twitter at MMAM Podcast. You can email me at mmampodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at MMAM Podcast. Please rate and share, and that would be great. It would be great if you rate. Hopefully it's a good rating. And like I've been saying for a while now, just regarding not only the pandemic, which is still going on, but all other kinds of information, just get them from credible sources, and certainly not from a podcaster or influencer. So look up articles or listen or watch and listen to news on New York Times, BBC, NPR, USA Today, Washington Post, just to name a few. Knowledge is power, so stay powerful, everyone. Until next time. Bye.